Ja, meine lieben Freunde und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einem neuen Let's Play. Heute spielen wir wieder Steins Zero. Wir sind in 16 Let's Play angelangt. Und ja, letztes Mal ist OKABE eine Idee gekommen, so we could use it. Ich habe keine Ahnung, Digga. Ich habe wirklich keine Ahnung, was gemeint ist. Der Laptop, das bei ihr eingebrochen wurde. Ich weiß nicht, wir gehen jetzt einfach mal direkt rein. Several days later. Let's go. Calgary's condition was getting worse. Calgary's perspective. Staccato footsteps echoed through the darkness. Akihabara got quiet early. The ever busy electronics stores, the concert halls that were filled with cheers, and the coffee shops that were full of laughter. All of that gave way to silence as soon as the night fell. A single set of footsteps walked slowly through the silence, never breaking rhythm. They belonged to a girl. It was dark, and so it was hard to see her clearly. Digga, was geht hier ab? It was very clear that she was acting strange. Digga, das macht mich so unsettling, diese Musik, Digga. Das ist crazy. She had a cap pulled down over her face, and was trying to avoid letting anyone see her as she walked. As if she was hiding from someone. As if someone was chasing her. And just as she was about to turn a corner, several men jumped out in front of her. The girl stopped in surprise. Suddenly there were men behind her too. Is this flashback? Yo, wait, what? Kagarishina, right? Ist das, wenn wir es usen können, ist das maybe so Susa verkleidet oder so eine Scheiße? One of the men spoke. His Japanese was fluid. But if she'd listened carefully, she might have detected a trace of a foreign accent. Der Woman, eben, das ist nicht Kagari. The girl they called Kagari was helpless as they surrounded her. One of the men thought to himself, this is the easiest job in the world. All they had to do was kidnap a single helpless looking girl. Das ist 100% Susa. Also, sehr sicher. There was no need to bring this many people. No, it wasn't just him. Almost everyone there felt the same way. He underestimated my power. The man gradually began to close in. The girl simply stood there, afraid, and showed no signs of resistance. This was too easy. Just as the man smiled and reached out his hand. Digga, was war das im Blut? He thought he heard the sound of something slicing through the air, and then he fell to the ground, clutching his hand. It looked like 3 sausages lying on the ground. Before they realized that the sausages were, oh my god, were the man's fingers, another man went down from a high kick to the head. The man began to howl in rage.
You fucking bitch!
Nah, you fucking bitch! They leapt at the girl, swearing, but Junge, this is Susa? One of the men who was trying to attack her from behind suddenly screamed.
おいおい、静かにしな。あんまりうるさくすると
Das ist Mr. Braun, glaube ich. A huge man came out of the darkness, silhouetted by the moon. Ja, es ist Mr. Braun. Aber was geht hier ab? Es geht wieder zu OKABE. Hat er zugeguckt? Ja, er hat zugeguckt. That was all I could say as I watched these tough men go down, one after the other. I knew from his size that Tenoji was strong. It was the other girl that really shocked me. Yeah, Suzuha. Her disguise ruined. Suzuha jumped around like a cat. Each time she moved, the man around her quivered. Digga, sie hat einfach von dem einen Typen 3 Finger abgeschnitten. Ruthless. Aber sie denkt, dass diese Leute etwas mit Kagari zu tun haben, deswegen no wonder, dass sie ruthless ist. I knew she'd undergone combat training, but I had no idea she was this strong when she was serious. Serious. The kicks from her long left. What? Lively legs? Like a work of art? Was zum Fick ist Lively? Thin, supple, graceful. Ja, okay. Ja, die werden alle umgebracht. The man fell to the ground without even having time to draw their knives and guns. Several days earlier, when I realized that the enemy was probably starting to panic, I came up with a plan. In the last word line, Mueka had told me that someone was looking for Kagari. Ja, das ist schon echt etwas her, aber ja. I wondered if that was true in this word line too. Information ist das Wichtigste in einem Kampf. So, in einem Krieg. So I asked Mueka to leak some information for me. A girl matching Kagari Shina's description came down this road at the same time every day. And today, a few days later, they'd all taken the bait. I hung back behind the corner of an alley. Watching them fight, I felt kind of pathetic, yet there was kein Combat Training, braucht was zu machen. But it was obvious that not only would I be of no help whatsoever, I'd actually just get in the way. So it was smart to leave it to them. Ja, mit so einem Ding. I heard Darius voice from the ear von one of my ears. Wie cool, die haben so eine richtige Operation, Alter. I'd called him and left the call connected so we could talk at any time. Daru had been opposed to Suzuha's plan to use herself as a decoy. Decoy? Aber sie ist OP, bro. He must have been worried about putting his daughter in danger.
心配いらない。お前の娘は想像よりずっとすごいよ。
そりゃ僕の娘だからね。でも傷物になんかされたらオカリン一生恨むからな。
He'd be better off worrying about the people she was fighting. Was war das? I'd suddenly heard a high-pitched whistle. At the signal, the men started to turn and run. They'd realized they'd fallen into a trap and decided to retreat.
おっと、そうはいくかよ。
Mindestens einen. Tenoji's giant arms grabbed one of the man's hands. But... Yo, ein Gunschuss, oder? There was a hello popping sound and the man's body went limp. Er wurde getötet, weil er erwischt wurde. No way. He was dead? He took his own life? A piercing yell brought me back to my senses. One of the men was coming toward the alleyway where I was hiding. Our goal was to capture them and make them tell us who they were working for. If we couldn't do that, all of this would be for nothing. I ran out in front of the man without even thinking. My sudden appearance caused him to hesitate for a moment, but he kept charging without dropping his speed. I saw that he was holding onto something shiny near his waist. A knife. Oder? Ein Messer, ja. Just as he hit me, Suzuha slammed into him with a jump kick. Aber das Fate, also wie es Okabe selber gesagt hatte, Okabe kann nicht sterben bis 2025. Wir wissen, dass er das stirbt. Aber er ist jetzt vielleicht am Bluten, aber dass er stirbt, irgendwie auf irgendeine Art, sollte eigentlich nicht möglich sein. Die Insel will nicht, dass er stirbt. Braucht ihn noch. Wer diese Reference gecheckt hat, schreibt es gerne in die Kommentare. Nein, aber, ja. The kick knocked him directly into Tenoji's waiting arms. Tenoji caught him easily, then spun the man's arm around his back so he couldn't hurt himself. Er kann sich immer noch die Zunge abbeißen, theoretisch.
なんともない。
オカリン、どうしたん？何があった？
心配するな。こっちはみんな無事だ。それより鈴葉、奴は。
Digga, er ist committed. Something like a scream came out of his mouth. Er hat irgendwas in seinen Mund getan, damit er sich nicht die Zunge abbeißen kann, I guess. At some point, Tenoji had jammed what looked like a towel into it. Ja. He was probably trying to keep him from killing himself, like the last guy.
おいおい、あんまり暴れるんじゃねえよ。騒ぎになって困るのはおめえもだろうが。それにまだ1本目だぜ。情けねえ。あとまだ9本も残ってる。
Pussy. Ach, oh mein Gott, hat er ihm die Finger rausgerissen? Die Fingernägel rausgerissen? Nine more to go. Ho. Bro. Einfach so auf der Straße, das ist crazy. His voice was cold. This was the real Tenoji. This was F.B. Ferdinand Braun. I wanted to look away, but Suzuha was watching without flinching in the slightest. Oh, Digga! Ich glaube, er hat ihm den Finger gebrochen. The man shook his head violently. Tenoji took the towel out of the man's mouth. He said something in a whisper so small I couldn't hear it. Tenoji's pallor suddenly changed. Stratfor. The man desperately shook his head again. Das ist ein Problem, Stratfor. I'd heard of them. Back when I was into conspiracy theories, I'd looked them up on the internet. Their real name was Strategic Focus, I think. They were an American civilian intelligence company, sometimes called the Shadow CIA. They specialized in military matters, and their skills had supposedly been put to good use during the Iraq and Gulf Wars. If a certain rounder like Tenoji said that they were a problem, they probably were. This wasn't going to be easy. But now wasn't a time for being scared. Digga, er kann einfach sagen, Daru Hex und er macht's. Das ist crazy. I felt myself starting to relax after I completed my first objective. But there wasn't time for that. This was where things really began.
どうしたの店長。何か気にかかることでも。
いや、ストラトフォーといや民間の会社だぜ。いわば金によって雇われてる連中だ。そんな奴らがいくら捕まったからって自決までするか？
It did seem strange, come to think of it.
おい、おめえ本当に
Tenoji tried to wring the man's neck again, but
気を失ってやがる。
he was knocked. Tenoji sighed and took out a rope, then started to tie him up.
後始末は俺に任せて、おめえらは行け。
いいんですか？
Digga, da liegt ein toter Mann am
これで
Boden.
終わりじゃねえんだろ。
I was a little curious what he intended to do with them, but
わかりました。後のことはお願いします。
I had other priorities right now. I said my thanks to Tenoji and hurried to the lab with Suzuha. Aber er ist verletzt, Digga, er blutet doch.
おじさん、早く。
わかってる。
Suzuha ran through the night like a panther. It was all I could do to keep up. The path to the lab seemed far longer than it usually did. We finally made it to the lab. Mayuri, Ferris and everyone else were already there waiting. And Kagari too. Kagari was lying on the couch, in obvious pain. Her breathing was shallow. Her complexion was pale. Something bad could happen to her at any moment.
なる。どうだ？
ちょい待ち。前にハッキングかけた時のルートがあるから今探ってる。
前にって。お前、そんな危険なことをしてたのか？
ちょっとね、友達と賭けでね。
Lol.
どっちが早くハックできるか勝負したんだ。ゴーゴーカレー1年分。
That's crazy. He probably had no idea how dangerous that was.
あれどっちが勝ったか聞かないん？
From the way he was acting, there was no need to even ask. Natürlich hat Daru gewonnen, er ist der Superhacker.
とにかく、急いでくれ。
ラジャー。
Okidoki. Since their plan to steal back Kagari had failed, there was a good chance Dreadfall would resort to even more desperate measures. There was no time to waste. And
おかり、顔色悪いよ。
いや、なんでもない。
なんでもないことないにゃ。見せるにゃ。
Ferris ripped off my coat.
ひどい怪我してるにゃ。岡部さん、違う。おかり。
I tried to avoid looking at it, but there was a lot more dark blood staining the side of my shirt than I'd expected to see. When the man had stabbed me before, it must have gone in pretty deep.
問題ない。
問題ないわけないにゃ。ルカにゃ、応急手当の用意を。はい。
俺は大丈夫だ。マユリ、それよりも、かがりは？
Kaguri was still lying on the sofa, panting for breath. Also sie zieht es schnell zu hacken. For the last few days she'd been getting weaker and weaker. Damit sie die Memories von ihr selber damit überschreiben können. Oder wie? Oh. Her hand reached up into the air.
ママどこにいるの？ママはここだよ。ちゃんとそばにいるよ。
Mayuri grabbed her hand tightly, and she finally smiled. A weak smile.
ママ、私このまま消えちゃうのかな。大丈夫だよ。きっとオカリンとダルくんが何とかしてくれるから。
Ja, Kaguri ist so nice hier, Digga.
そうだよ。オカリン、わかるよね。オカリンさん。
Kaguri's lifeless eyes turned towards me.
心配しなくていい。もう少しで元通りになる。
岡部さん。私を消して。
かがり。
No.
彼女の中から私を消して。このままじゃ彼女が。
Those were Kuriso's words. Personality and memory were two different things. Just because she had Kuriso's memories, that didn't mean she had Kuriso's personality. But... Yo.
お願い、岡部さん。
Boah, ich hab Gänsehaut, Freunde.
消して。
Those were definitely Kuriso's words. At least, that's how it seemed to me. I remembered what she'd said before. She told me to save Mayuri. She told me she couldn't sacrifice Mayuri to save herself. Maybe there was a tiny chance that Kuriso's memories would safely settle inside Kagari's mind. But even if they did, I knew what she'd chosen. She'd chosen to leave. She'd chosen to disappear. I had no way of knowing if the words coming out of Kagari's mouth were from another personality created by Kuriso's memories. Ich hab so Gänsehaut, Digga. But there was no doubt that they were Kuriso's words. Digga, absolutely fucking goated, Alter. Right now, she was nothing but a formless thing called memories. So why? Why even now, when she was nothing but memories? Did she still have to suffer so much? Why did she have to suffer at all?
ごめんね、岡部。
Pause. Clear drops fell from her softly closed eyes.
誰？まだか？
Kurisu! I asked him to stop myself from screaming her name.
待って、もうすぐ。
まずいよ、おじさん。
Susa whispered to me as she looked out the window. Nein, das Stadtfall schon hier, oder was?
2、3、何人か集まってきてる。
Oh,
ストラト4だ。
wir sind guckt.
誰
Digga.
よし、来い、来い、来い。
The tension was rising every second. Sie müssen die Wordline ändern, sonst sind die gefickt. Was he done yet? Why wasn't he done yet?
シュー
誰
That was the goat. That was the goat. That was the goat. Let's fucking go. Lukaku and the others brought the treatment device over, but I motioned for them to stay back as I looked down at the monitor. Mao leaned over Daru's other shoulder.
重要そうなファイルの中からサイズの大きなものを選んで。
待ってよ。大きなの2と、もしかしてこれかな。でもファイルネーム、ジョンって。
John!
モーツァルトの洗礼名はヨハネ。きっとそれだわ。
John Taita.
なんかよくわからんけど、OK。てか中にもファイルがいっぱいあるんですけど。
見せて。
Mao kennt sich aus. Inside the folder were several files labeled with codes. Dick, die müssen sich verfickt mal beeilen, weil draußen sind so viele Leute, ne?
研究段階じゃこんなに多くなかった。
Which meant that after the Amadeus program was shut down, it had ended up in Stratford's hands, somehow. And they'd gone on to do much, to do more experiments with it. Digga, this fucking tension has got crazy.
この中のどれかがカガリさんの記憶データのはずだけど。
K6205 だ。
え
K6205 番がカガリの記憶だ。誰
Köchel Number 620, the Magic Flute. Ja, stimmt.
K62 あったこれだ。
後の手はずは事前に話した通りに頼む。
Compared to Kurisus time leap machine, the process was a lot simpler. Digga! Since the memory data already existed, there was no need for a VR headset. Ich wollte kurz was gucken, Freunde. Okay. Ja. Oh, the phone wave. All we had to do was use the decoder program on Kagari's memory data, then use CERN's LHC to compress it. Then we transferred the compressed data and sent it to the cell phone.
完全に囲まれた。
誰準備はいいか
All okay.
Digga, Daru ist der Carry, Digga, ohne die werden alle tot.
待って。
Wie Mathe? Was für Mathe? I looked up and saw that Mao was staring at the screen, her features frozen in an iron mask. Bruder, was für Mathe, Bruder? Wird nix warte, los!
どうしたヤジョさん。
本当にうまくいくのかしら。もし失敗したらカガリさんは。
I reached my arm around Daru's back and put my hand firmly on her shoulder.
大丈夫だ。俺が保証する。
岡部さん。
I guarantee it.
カガリ。
I stepped away from the PC and knelt down in front of the sofa where Kagari lay.
岡部さん。
いいな。
Goodbye. Kuris.
来た。
Ja, halt die scheiß Tür zu.
了解
Daru ist der Goat. Sound of footsteps coming up the stairs. The sound of a oh mein Gott. The sound of a phone ringing. Okay, let's go, Daru. Hey? Achso, answer reject. Ja, answer. The phone I pressed against Kagari's head stopped ringing, and in that moment the world changed. Ja, World changed. Das war die einzige Möglichkeit, wie wir rauskommen können. What the fuck? Wir haben die Nummer nicht gesehen. I was inside the deep black darkness. Ich hab Gänsehaut, Freunde. There was no sound. No temperature. Just darkness, cold and silence. No one was here. I didn't even know if I was asleep or awake. Digga, ich hab absolut krasse Gänsehaut. Digga, was? Was passiert? Hat's fehlgeschlagen? There was nothing but a vague sense of presence. Nothingness. Nothingness spreading out to infinity. Hat's geklappt? Huh? What was I doing? Wasn't I...
ちょっと岡部いつまでもそんなところで寝てると風邪ひくわよ。
What? Das ist Curies Stimme. Aber wieso? I turned towards the voice. Standing there next to the open curtains of the development room was...
何よ。
Hä?
なんだクリスいたのか。
Hä? Warum reagiert OKABE so? Was für der UA-Curies? Willst du mich verarschen? Hä? Hat er sein eigenes Gegeneffekt? Oder weiß er nicht mehr, was gerade abgeht? Hä? Promised Renas Kimito, Alter.
いたのかとはず
Wir sind bei einem
挨
neuen.
拶だな。さっきからずっとここにいたじゃない。
Hä? Bro. Bro, wait. What? Oder was? Was? Hä? Promised Rinas Kimento war das, glaube ich, Freunde. Was auch immer das bedeutet? Oh. Okay, Freunde. What the fuck? Hä? In was für einer Wildline befinden wir uns? Das hat so gebuggt. Und auch wie OKABE sich benimmt, der UA-Kuris. So als wäre das komplett verständlich. Was für eine Zeit befinden wir uns? Lebt hier Mari? Was ist mit Kageri? What the fuck, ich bin hardcore verwirrt. Egal. Ey, Freunde, das war's mit diesem Let's Play. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Lasst gerne ein Like und ein Abo da. Digga, absolut goated, Digga. Ist die Tension, die ich hatte, Digga, die Gänsehaut, alles. Ey, absolut geil. Das war's, Freunde. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Lasst gerne ein Like und ein Abo da. Checkt die anderen Videos, Playlists, Parts, Streams, was weiß ich hier noch hab, ey. Digga, war das geil. What the fuck, was? Aber hä? Ey, Freunde, schreibt gerne in die Kommentare, falls ihr irgendwelche Theorien oder so habt. Ich hab keine Ahnung, was geht nicht hier ab, hä? Es sollte doch die Erinnerung rausnehmen von fucking Curies aus Kageri. Das. So erase me. Und das hat's ja gemacht. Goodbye. Oder egal. Ciao, Freunde. Das ist zu viel mit meinem Kopf. Absolut geiles Let's Play. Absolut geil. Ah, ich liebe Steins Gate. Bye.